Hey everyone, and welcome back to Daily Tuition. In this lecture, we are going to create this amazing responsive website using Bootstrap. In this website, you will learn many new things. We are going to start from the header of this website and make this header transparent. I'm using the Bootstrap header in this tutorial. Then we'll create this banner section in which we have the website title, 2 buttons and the background image. Then we are going to create this technology section. In this section, we are going to create this oval carousel. I will show you how you can create your own oval carousel in this section. In this carousel, we have different blocks, and at the bottom of this oval carousel, I'm going to create these nav buttons so you can navigate through different oval items. You will also understand how to create this image hover effect on these images. Just after that, we have the security section. In this section, we're going to create the oval carousel with dark background. Just after that, we have the editor's favorite section. And in this section, we will understand how to create these 5 oval items on the same page. We're also going to see how to make this oval carousel responsive. At the last, we have this amazing footer. In this footer, we are going to add website pages and the newsletter section. We're also going to add the background image to this footer section. Now, let me just quickly show you this website is responsive for mobile or not. Let me just check this website for mobile devices. When I open the viewport for the mobile devices, you can see the website is completely responsive. This website is responsive for any kind of device. We are going to start from the beginning and learn everything step by step. So before you're getting late, let's get started. Now let's get started and see how to first set up the project. So the very first thing you need to first install Node.js in your local system. If you don't want to use Node, you can use CDN as well, the Content Delivery Network, to link different libraries to the project. But I strongly recommend you to use Node to install different libraries. Node is nothing but a runtime environment used to execute JavaScript outside of the browser. If you don't know about Node, don't worry. I will explain how to use it in this lecture. Just head on to node.org and open the download page and just download it for your local system. I'm using Windows, so I'm going to click on this Windows installer and install the Node in my local system. If you wanted to know how to install Node, I have a dedicated video on it. You can check out the video on the top right corner of the screen. Once you install Node, let's just move to the text editor. I'm using the Visual Studio Code editor for this tutorial. This is one of the most top rated editor in the market. This is my favorite editor for writing HTML and CSS code. If you are not comfortable with this editor, you can use a different editor as well. I'm using the Visual Studio Code editor throughout this tutorial. This editor is free, built on open source, and runs anywhere on any system. So I'm going to install this editor in my local system. To install this editor, just head on to code.visualstudio.com. And once you open this website, just click on the download for Windows. I'm using Windows, so I'm going to install this for my Windows system. If you want, you can download this for Mac or Linux as well. That's upon you. So just click on this download button to download the Visual Studio Code in your local system. I already have it, so I'm going to just open it. So let me just open the Visual Studio Code editor, and once I open it, you can notice I have the empty folder open inside this editor. To open the empty folder, I'm going to click on this file and click on this open folder. Now once I open this editor, let me just show you some extensions I'm using to prettify the code. So I'm going to click on these extensions. I'm using some extension to prettify and add some features to this Visual Studio Code editor. I'm using Atom 1 Dark theme. Then you can notice here I'm using the live Sass compiler. This compiler allows you to watch your Sass file continuously when you change anything inside it. This Sass compiler is going to compile your Sass file into CSS at runtime with a live browser reload. So just install this live Sass compiler, then install the live server. The live server allows you to open your HTML file in the live server. So whenever you make any changes in the HTML, it's going to reflect on your project automatically. You don't have to reload your browser. When you save the changes, it's going to automatically reload the browser and you will get your latest result. So the live server is going to launch development local server, and you will see the live reload feature for the static and the dynamic pages. Just after that, I'm using the material icon to get the icon before my files and folders. Now, to install different extensions in the Visual Studio Code editor, you just need to search for the extension name in the search box. So for example, if I want to install the live server, I'm going to say here live server. When I search for it, you can notice I'm going to have the different result, and I'm going to select this live server to install in my Visual Studio Code editor. I'm going to click on it. When you open it, you will have the install button. Now once you install all this extension, let me show you my setting file. I'm going to press Ctrl Shift P and then I'm going to open the setting.json file. You can notice here inside this setting file, I'm going to just add some settings. I'm using the One Dark Pro theme, then I'm using material icon, then I'm going to specify font size 18 to the code, and the font family is Kerala. Then I'm going to specify font width 400, zoom level is 1, and as a terminal I'm going to use bash shell. This is the Git bash shell. To use the bash shell, you need to first install the Git in your local system. Once you install Git in your local system, you will get the bash.exe file. If you want to open the bash as a terminal, you can specify that in the setting file. Just for that, I'm going to specify cursor style line, then I'm going to specify the terminal font family, then I'm going to specify the confirm drag and drop false, and the live server setting for the custom browser is Chrome. So when I right click and open the file in the live server, the file will automatically open in the Chrome browser. And then I'm going to have here the live SAS compiler. This setting is very important. When you install the live SAS compiler in your Visual Studio Code editor, just add this setting. Now what I want to compress all the SAS files into CSS when I compile it. And then I'm going to specify .css extension to that compile file, and I want to save all that CSS files inside this CSS folder. So when you compile your SAS file, this setting is automatically going to create a new folder CSS and put all the CSS files inside that folder. Just for that, I'm going to specify generate map false, so it's not going to create a map file. And then I'm going to say auto prefix, and then I'm going to specify here square bracket. Now once you specify all the settings in your Visual Studio Code editor, let me just close this just like this and back to my Explorer. And now let's just set up the project. Now once you set up the Visual Studio Code editor, let's create the project. So I'm going to first create the asset file where we're going to store all the images. So here I'm going to click on this create new directory icon and create a new directory and name the directory assets. You can notice I'm going to have the beautiful icon before this asset using the material icon extension. Now in this asset, I'm going to put some images. But before I put some images, let me just create my main index file. So I'm going to click on this new file icon, and here I'm going to say index.html, just like this. And now let me put my images inside this asset folder. So I'm going to just copy these images and paste it inside my project asset folder. So I'm going to just paste all these images inside my project, inside this asset folder, right here, just like this. Don't worry, you can download all these images from the link provided in the description. Now once I have all these images, and now you can notice inside the asset folder, I'm going to have different images. Let me just minimize this asset folder and back to my index.html. And now let me just create a simple HTML5 snippet. So I'm going to click on this exclamation mark and press tab. When I press tab, I'm going to have a simple HTML5 snippet. And here I'm going to specify title, app. If you want, you can specify different title as well. Then in the body section, I'm going to specify the body of this HTML. But before we start working on body, let me first initialize this project and install some libraries inside this project. And then we will start working on the body section of this website. Now once you install npm in your local system, you can install different libraries using your command lines. You can use the terminal to install different libraries in your project. Let me show you how you can do that. You just need to open the terminal just like this, and here you need to just specify some commands to install libraries in this project. Now once you install Node in your local system, you need to first check the Node is properly installed or not. To check that, you just need to say node --version. When you specify this command and press enter, you're going to have the Node version as a result. Now once you have the confirmation that Node is successfully installed in your local system, let's just install some libraries inside this project. So let me first initialize this project. So to initialize this project, you need to say here npm init. npm means Node Package Manager that allows you to install different libraries inside your project. So I'm going to first initialize this project as a Node package. So I'm going to say here npm init. When I press enter, the Node will ask me to specify package name. So here you can notice the Node asks me to specify the package name. I'm going to specify the package name daily app. Then I'm going to specify version. I'm going to leave this as it is. So I'm going to specify here enter. I'm not going to specify any description here. I'm going to specify here enter. I'm going to specify everything default. Git is going to be default. Keyword is going to be app HTML website and press enter. Author is going to be, I'm going to specify my name, press enter. I'm going to specify the default license and then I'm going to say OK. So I'm going to press enter. When you press enter, you can notice you're going to have a package.json file inside your project. This file is going to initialize this project as npm package. Inside this file, you have the package name, package version, description, the entry point of the package, some keywords, the author and the license. Now once you initialize this package, let me just install some libraries. I'm going to open the terminal, clear the screen, and now let me first install Sass inside this project. To install Sass in your project, you just need to say npm install Sass, or you can just specify npm I Sass, just like this. Both commands are identical. When you press enter, it's going to install Sass in your project. You can notice here, you have a new folder, node modules, and inside it, you have your Sass library. And the Sass library depends on these libraries. So it's automatically installed these libraries inside the node module. You don't have to worry about it. Just minimize it. And now once you have Sass, let me install Bootstrap inside this project. I'm going to clear the screen, and to install Bootstrap, I'm going to say node package manager install Bootstrap, just like this. And when I press enter, the node package manager is going to install the Bootstrap inside my project. So I'm going to have Bootstrap inside this node module folder. Just out of that, I'm going to install the jQuery. So I'm going to say here npm I for install jQuery. Press enter to install jQuery in the local system, and then I'm going to install the Font Awesome website. Because I'm using different icons in this website, I'm using Font Awesome. Font Awesome is a website that allows you to import some free fonts in your website. So I'm going to use all that icons using Font Awesome website. So I'm going to first open the Font Awesome website. So to install Font Awesome in your project, you just need to head on to fontawesome.com/icons. So here you can find different free and paid icons for your project. I'm using the free one. So to install this library, just click on the start button, and on the start page, just scroll down, and here you can find the npm to install this library in the project. Just click on it, and here you can notice you have the command to install this library in the project. Just copy it and paste it in the terminal, just like this. When you press enter, you're going to have the Font Awesome icons in your project. Now once you have the Font Awesome icons, let me install the OL Carousel. Let me first open the OL Carousel website. I'm going to say here OL Carousel, and I'm using the OL Carousel 2.3. So I'm going to open the latest version of OL Carousel, and here you can find the different documentation and different example of OL Carousel. You can notice here you have different examples of OL Carousel on this website. To install the OL Carousel, just head on to the doc section, installation, and here you can find different ways to install this library in your project. I'm using the npm, so I'm going to just head on to the git section. I'm going to click on the git, and inside this git you can notice you have the npm install OL Carousel to install this library in the project. So I'm going to just use this command and install the OL Carousel in my project. So I'm going to just back to my project and just say here npm install -- save OL Carousel. This save command is just going to save this library as a dependencies. Now once you specify this command, just press enter. When you press enter, you're going to have this OL Carousel in your project. Now let me close this terminal, and now once you have all your libraries, let me show you how you can link it with your project. If you open the package.json file, you can find all your libraries in the dependencies section. So here you can find how many libraries I'm using inside this project. Now let me show you how you can link all these libraries to the project. Now once you understand how you can install all these libraries inside your project, let me show you how you can link it one by one to your project. So I'm going to first create a new folder inside this project directory, So here I'm going to create a new folder. So I'm going to click on the new folder icon and specify the name SAS. And inside this SAS folder, I'm going to create a new file and name this file style.scss. SAS use the SCSS extension to create a new file. So I'm going to specify SCSS extension to this file and press enter. Inside this file, I'm going to first create a command and then I'm going to specify here template main style file. So I'm going to just create a command and say here main style file. Let me just first create here some CSS. So I'm going to say here body, and to this body I'm going to specify padding 0 and I'm going to specify margin 0. Now once I have the CSS, let me just compile this SAS and create my CSS file. To compile this SAS, you have here an option watch SAS. When you install SAS compiler, you automatically get this option at the bottom of your Visual Studio Code editor. Just click on this watch SAS. When you click on it, here you will see the compiling SAS files and generated this style.css. You can notice the status watching. So whenever you make any changes inside this SAS file, it's going to regenerate this style.css. Now let me just make some changes inside this style file. Here I'm going to specify 1 rem to the padding and 1 rem to the margin. When I save the changes, the change is now detected. The SAS compiler is going to regenerate this style.css file. And if you open the style.css, you're going to have your CSS styling inside this file. And you can notice the SAS compiler is going to create the compressed version of the CSS. The compressed version of CSS saves some bytes and loads the CSS much faster than the standard CSS file. Now once you understand how you can compile the SAS, let me show you how you can link different libraries using the SAS file. So I'm going to just open the style.css. You can notice the status watching. So whenever you make any changes inside this file, it's going to regenerate the style.css. I'm going to leave it as it is and close this window. And then inside this file, I'm going to first link my Bootstrap. I'm going to get rid of this body section. This is just for example. I'm going to create here comment. In the capital letter, I'm going to say Bootstrap files. So I'm going to link Bootstrap files here first. I'm going to say here import Bootstrap. In the single quote, I'm going to say // to get the node modules. Then inside the node modules, I'm going to have the Bootstrap folder. Inside the Bootstrap, I'm going to have the SAS folder. And inside the SAS, I have the bootstrap.scss file. I'm going to link that file just like this and specify here semicolon. When I save the changes, you can notice it's going to regenerate this style.css and you're going to have all the Bootstrap code inside your style file. You can notice here, you have all the Bootstrap code inside this style.css and this code is in the compressed version. So now you don't have to link the Bootstrap in the index file. You just need to link this style.css. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the index file. I'm going to say here, I'm going to create a simple comment here and say custom style.css file. And just after that, I'm going to say here link and then specify ./CSS folder and then I'm going to specify style.css. That's it. Now once I have my Bootstrap, let me just link the old carousel. So down here, a new command and here I'm going to say oval carousel. And here I'm going to import the old carousel files. So I'm going to say here import. In the single quote, I'm going to just access the node modules. Then I'm going to specify old carousel. You can notice here you have a folder here, old carousel. Then I'm going to select the source folder. Inside the source, you have SAS folder. And inside the SAS, you have oval carousel.scss file. So I'm going to link that file just like this. Duplicate the statement just like this. Just get rid of this old carousel.scss. And instead of linking this old carousel, right here, I'm going to link oval theme.default.scss file. So I'm going to have the default styling of oval carousel. I'm going to specify here semicolon. Don't forget to specify semicolon here as well. Save all the changes. And now you have all the code of the old carousel inside your style.css file. Now just after that, the time is to link the JS files. So I'm going to back to my index.html. Before the closing of the body section, I'm going to link my JS files. So before the closing of this body section, I'm going to simply add a comment here and say jQuery file. And here I'm going to say script in the source, I'm going to specify dot forward slash, specify node modules, then select the jQuery, and here I'm going to specify dict folder, and here I'm going to select jQuery main.js file. Just out of that, I'm going to link the Bootstrap file. So here I'm going to say Bootstrap JS file, and here I'm going to say script. In the source, I'm going to specify dot forward slash node modules, access the Bootstrap folder, and inside it, just use the dict.js and just link the Bootstrap main.js, just like this. Just out of that, create a command, and now I'm going to link the font awesome library. So here I'm going to say font awesome file and specify script tag, and then I'm going to select node modules, select the font awesome free, and then I'm going to select the JS folder, and I'm going to select this all main.js file. So to link font awesome to your website, you just need to link a single file all.main.js. Now just for that, I'm going to link the OL carousel. I'm going to create here a command and say OL carousel JS file, and here I'm going to create a script and link the OL carousel. So I'm going to say node modules, OL carousel, select the dict folder, then I'm going to select this OL carousel.main.js, just like this. And at the last, I'm going to link my custom JS file. So I'm going to say here custom JavaScript index.js file. So I'm going to create here a script tag, and here in the source attribute, I'm going to specify my index file. As you know, I don't have the custom JS file, so let me first create the custom file. I'm going to click on the new file icon and create a new file index.js, just like this. And I'm going to just link this right here. I'm going to say dot forward slash and link the index.js, just like this. Save the changes. Now as you can notice, you successfully link all the libraries to your project. Once you understand how to link all this library to your project, so in the body section, I'm going to create 3 sections. So in the body, I'm going to start with the header section of this website. So here I'm going to first create a command for the header. So here I'm going to say header, and I'm going to just close this command to indicate this is the closing header. So I'm going to specify here forward slash. So this indicate this is the closing header section. Just for that, I'm going to create the main section of this website. So I'm going to create a command for the main section, and here I'm going to say main site. I'm going to copy this command, paste it down here to indicate this is the closing main section, and at the last I'm going to create the footer section of this website. So here I'm going to say footer, and I'm going to just copy this command, paste it down here, and close this command to indicate this is the closing footer section of this website. So let's start with the header section of this website. Let's first open my finished website in the browser. You can notice this is my finished website. And now let me open this index.html file in the live server. So I'm going to right click here and say open with live server. When you install live server extension in the Visual Studio Code editor, you will get this option when you right click on the index file. I hope you already installed the live server extension in the Visual Studio Code editor. Just right click on the index.html file and select the open with live server option. And when you select it, you can notice you have index.html file open in the live server. I'm going to just drag this here and just toggle this window on the right side of this screen, just like this. So I'm going to just create here header tag. So here I'm going to say header, and to specify ID to this tag, I'm going to specify hash and then specify ID header. When I press tab, I'm going to have header tag with ID header. Just for that, inside this header, I'm going to create a simple division tag. So here I'm going to say div and specify class to it. So I'm going to specify here dot top. I can do the same thing with just dot top command. You can notice we have the default element div in the Visual Studio Code editor. So whenever you want to create a division tag, you don't have to specify the tag name. I'm going to just specify here dot top, and when I press tab, I'm going to have the division tag with the class top. Inside this div, I'm going to create a container class. So here I'm going to say container. Now this is the Bootstrap class. This class is going to specify 80% width to this division tag and make this div center at the document. And once I have this container, I'm going to just remove padding from it. So I'm going to specify here padding 0. So I'm going to say here p-0. So I'm going to use the Bootstrap class p-0. This class is going to remove the padding from this division tag. Now inside this div, I'm going to add the Bootstrap navigation menu. So I'm going to just head on to the Bootstrap website. So I'm going to open the new tab, and here I'm going to say getbootstrap.com. I'm going to just open the Bootstrap website, and from here you can get the documentation of the Bootstrap, get the different examples and some themes as well. I'm going to click on this get started and click on the components and just navigate to the navbar section. So I'm going to click on this navbar and I'm going to just copy this navigation menu, this one. I'm going to just copy this navigation menu code right from here, copy to clipboard. Let me just open my website, and here I'm going to paste all that code just like this. And then let me just open my website live server and save all the changes. When I press Ctrl S to save the changes, you can notice you have the live result. This container is going to create 80% width and specify the content at the center of the document. Just out of that, we have the navigation menu using the now tag. Inside this now, I have this now brand. Then we have these navigation links. Let me just change this navbar, and here I'm going to specify app. If you want, you can add a website icon inside this anchor tag. Now just out of that, I want to change these links. So to the features, I'm going to specify blog. To this pricing, I'm going to specify security. I'm going to get rid of this last li tag and duplicate this li just like this. Change this security, and here I'm going to say contact us. When I save the changes, you can see I have all the text. Just out of that, I'm going to add the font awesome icons. If you just take a look at the finished website, here you can notice I have some icons inside this navigation menu. And I also have this button. Let me just add this. So down here, just start this link. I'm going to add the link tag again. Inside this anchor tag, I'm going to get rid of this security. And here I'm going to add the I tag. Press tab. And inside this I, I'm going to specify class fab fa Twitter. So now to add icon inside your project, you need to specify some class. If you just open the font awesome website, and if you open the icon section, you can notice each icon have some class. If I open this icon have this class name. To access this icon, you need to specify this class name. So as you can notice, I'm using this FA Twitter to access the Twitter icon. When I save the changes, I'm going to have the Twitter icon. Let me just copy this li tag, paste it down here, and now let me just change this icon, and I'm going to specify here Telegram plain. Copy and paste the link tag again, change this Twitter, and here I'm going to say Facebook -F. Just out of that, I'm going to say here YouTube. You can find all these icons in the font awesome website. If you want to find all these icons, just search for it in this search box. Once I have all these icons, let me just save it. You can notice I have all these icons here. Just out of this link tag, I'm going to create a button here. So I'm going to paste the link tag again. And instead of this anchor tag, I'm going to add here a button. So here I'm going to say button. And to this button, I'm going to specify class btn info. So I'm going to use the Bootstrap class here, btn and btn info. And then I'm going to specify text to this button, download app. Save the changes, and you will get the button inside this navigation menu. Now, just out of that, I want to move these navigation menu links on the right side of this navigation menu. So I want to move these links right here, just like this. To do that, I'm going to just move to the UL tag, and right here, I'm going to add class. So here I'm going to add margin left auto. When I specify that and save the changes, you can notice all my links is now aligned to the right side of this navigation menu. Just out of that, I'm going to just get rid of this BG light. I don't want to specify background color to this navigation menu. And then I'm going to specify text center to this UL tag. So here I'm going to say text center. So this will just center all these links. Now what I want to add some custom styling to these navigation links. So I'm going to just back to my style.css, and here I'm going to create a new file for the header section of this website. So instead of adding all the code inside this style.css, I'm going to just move all the code in the separate file. So it will be easy to manage all the style of your website. So instead of adding all the code inside this style.css, I'm going to create a new partial file for the header section. So I'm going to open the Explorer, and inside this SAS folder right here, I'm going to create a new folder. So I'm going to just click on this, and here I'm going to create a new folder, include, just like this. And inside this include, I'm going to create a new file. So I'm going to select new file and specify name header.scss. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to just select navigation item first. So I'm going to select this header ID. Then I'm going to select the navbar. Then I'm going to select the collapse class. And then I'm going to select this now item. In standard CSS, if you want to select this now item, you would simply say here header. Then you need to specify here navbar, just like this. And then you specify collapse. And then you need to specify now item. And inside the curly braces, you need to specify the styling for the now item class. But if you're using SAS, the styling is much better than CSS. Now when working with SAS, you don't have to do it. To select this now item, you just need to grab it, just get it off this statement right from here, just like this. Create the header, and inside these curly braces, you can add navbar. So here I'm going to say navbar collapse now item. I'm going to just grab this selection, add a curly braces here, then specify here collapse, grab the now item, just like this, add a curly braces here, and then specify here now item, just like this. So now using SAS, it's much easier to specify styling to your HTML element. I want to style the now item, so here I'm going to say padding. I want to add padding 0 for the top and bottom and 0.4 rem to the left and right. Save the changes. When I save the changes, you can notice I don't have this styling to this navigation menu. Because if you just take a look at your CSS, then you have two files here, header.css and style.css. If you want to apply this styling to your project, you need to include this header file as well in the index.html file. But I don't want to do that. I want to just include this file inside my style.css. The SAS compiler is going to create a new file if you specify the standard file name to the SAS file. Now what I want to include this file inside this style.css. So I want this file as a partial file of this style.css. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to just rename this header.sas file, and here I'm going to rename it. And before this header, I'm going to specify underscore, just like this. I'm going to just rename it and say here underscore header.scss, just like this. And now when I compile this SAS, it's not going to create this header.css. Let me just delete this file right from here. And now when I save the changes, it's not going to create this file. Now to apply these changes, you need to include this file in the style.sas file. So open the style.sas, and here I'm going to just say templates, and here I'm going to say @import, and in the single quote, I'm going to specify include header.sas, just like this. So you just need to say here header. Now once you've done that, save the changes. When you save the changes, you can notice you have some space between your navigation links. Now once you know that how you can apply CSS styling to your navigation menu, let me just add font family and create some variables for this website. So once you understand how you can apply styling using SAS, let me show you how you can add font family to this project. So let me just open a new tab and search for Google font. I'm going to just search for Google font and open the fonts.google.com. And here, let me just search for my favorite font and apply it to my website. Here I'm going to search for Inter. I'm going to use this font in this website. So I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to just select this light 300 font. So I'm going to click on this, select this style. And when you click on it, you have the link to access this font. Just start that. Let me just select my second font. So I'm going to select here Nunito. I'm going to select this font. And here I'm going to choose the regular font. So I'm going to select the regular 400. So I'm going to click on this, select this style. And you can notice here, I have the link tag to link these fonts to the website. I'm not going to use the link tag. Instead, I'm going to use this import statement. I'm going to click on this import and just copy this statement right from here. And I'm going to just paste it inside my style.scss right here. Here I'm going to create a command, Google fonts. So here I'm going to paste my import statement, just like this. So now you can access these fonts inside your project. Now once you have this font, let me just create some variables inside this project. Let me just create a new file for that. Inside this include, I'm going to create a new file. So I'm going to start this file from underscore and then specify variable dot as CSS. And inside this file, I'm going to create some variables. So to create a variable in Sass, you just need to start with a dollar symbol and specify the name for your variable. I'm going to specify name enter for the font family. Then I'm going to specify colon and then specify value to it. So here I'm going to specify font family enter, and then I'm going to specify callback value cursive. So if this font is not available, this variable is going to call this cursive font. Just for that, I'm going to create another variable none, and then I'm going to specify font family Nunito, just like this, and then specify the callback value cursive. And now just for that, if you want to create a color variable, you can do that as well in the Sass. You just need to specify here dollar to specify name for this color variable, and then I'm going to specify name purple, and then I'm going to specify value to it. Here I'm going to specify hex value. So here I'm going to say hash 6930C3. So I'm going to specify the hex value to this color and specify semicolon. Save the changes, and to use this variable, you need to first include this variable file inside the style.sass file. So open the style.sass, and before all your templates, just import this variable file. So here I'm going to say import in the single quote. I'm going to specify include variables.sass, just like this. So now you can use these variables in all your template files. Save the changes, back to the header.sass file right here. So now inside this header file, what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the enter font family to all my text, and for the headings I'm going to specify my second font family. Before this header, I'm going to create a body tag, and inside this body I'm going to specify font family and specify the variable enter, just like this. When I save the changes, I'm going to have this font family to all my text. You can notice here. Just for that, in the header, what I want to just specify absolute position to this header section, because I want to add the background image and make this header transparent. So I'm going to specify the absolute path to this header section. So here in the header section, I'm going to select top, and to this top, I'm going to specify position absolute. Top is going to be 0, left is going to be 0, and width is going to be 100%. Save the changes. You're not going to see any changes, but you have the absolute position to your navigation menu. So whenever you add any division tag after this navigation menu, it's going to start from the top of this document. Just for that, I want to specify some Z index to this navigation menu, so you can access these links. So here I'm going to specify Z index and specify layer value 999. Save the changes. Now just for that, I want to specify my second font family to this navbar brand. So instead of selecting this navbar brand and specifying font family to it, I'm going to create a global class, and using that global class, I can specify font family to the HTML element very easily. Let me show you how to do it. I'm going to open my website, and inside this include, I'm going to create a new file and start this file from underscore, and I'm going to specify file name global.scss. And inside this file, I'm going to create all my global classes. So here I'm going to create a comment and say global CSS classes. So down here, I'm going to create a class font none. And inside this class, I'm going to say font family, then specify variable none. So this will specify this font to this class. So when you apply this class to the HTML elements, I'm going to have this font family. Now, just for that, I'm going to specify here font width is going to be bold. Just after that, I'm going to create here some font sizes. So here I'm going to say dot font size 1. So I'm going to create this class for font size 1, and I'm going to specify font size here 0.8 rem. So when I specify font size 1 to the HTML elements, it's going to have this font size. I'm going to copy this class and duplicate it here, change this class and say here font size 2, 1.9 rem, font size 3, and this is going to be font size 3, just like this. Save the changes. Don't forget to include this file in the style.scss. Just start this variable right here. I'm going to just say import and specify here include global.scss. I can use this styling inside this header file as well. That is why I specify this global before this header template. Now just for that, let me just back to my HTML file. So here to this navbar brand, I'm going to specify this class font noon. I'm going to specify this to this navbar brand just like this. When I save the changes, you can notice this font family is now applied to this navbar brand. Then I'm going to just specify this font size to this navbar brand. So here I'm going to specify font size 2. Save the changes. You can notice this is going to add font size to this navbar brand. Now once you understand how to create this header, let's move to the body section of this website. So let's see how to create the body section of this website. Now let's get started and see how to create the body section of this website. In the body section, I'm going to first add this banner section. In the banner, I'm going to add this background image. Then I'm going to add this title, add some text, and add these beautiful buttons. So let's take a look at how to create this banner section of this website. So I'm going to just open my website and minimize this header section. In the main site section, in this command right here, I'm going to add the main section of this website. So I'm going to create a main tag here and specify ID to it, site main. And then inside this main, I'm going to create different sections. So here I'm going to create a section tag and then specify ID to it, banner. Inside this section, I'm going to create a row. So I'm going to create a division tag with the class row. And inside this row, I have a column. So here I'm going to say call LG7. So I'm going to use the Bootstrap class here row to create a new row. And then I'm going to add a Bootstrap class called LG7. This class is going to specify 7 column space to this division tag when the viewport is large. If you don't know how Bootstrap grid system work, then I have a dedicated video on Bootstrap grid system. You can check that video on the top right corner of the screen. In this div, I'm going to create a division tag with the class space. So here I'm going to say space just like this. And inside this space, I'm going to create a class text LG left. Then just out of that, I'm going to add another class to this div. So I'm going to specify here dot and specify text center. When I press tab, I'm going to have 2 classes to this division tag, text LG left and text center. So when the viewport of this website is large, I want to specify the text to the left side of the document. And when the viewport is changed to medium size of devices, I want to just center all the text. Now in this div, I'm going to create this solving daily problem heading. So here I'm going to add H6 heading tag, and here I'm going to specify text solving daily problems just like this. And to this H6 heading tag, I'm going to add a Bootstrap class H6. So this will specify the standard H6 font size to this H6 heading tag. Save the changes, back to the website, and here you can notice you have your solving daily problem text here. Now as I said earlier, I have the absolute path to this navigation bar. That is why you're going to get all the text to the top of this document. Now once we have the H6 heading tag, just after that, I'm going to add here H1 heading tag with some classes. So here I'm going to add a class H1. Then I'm going to add a font family. So here I'm going to say font noon. So I'm going to add my own global class here, font noon. And then I'm going to specify some font size to it. So here I'm going to say dot font size 3. You can notice I specified 3 classes to this H1 heading tag using dot. When I press tab, I'm going to have 3 classes to this H1 heading tag. I'm going to have H1, font noon, and font size 3 to this H1 heading tag. Inside this H1, I'm going to specify some text. So here I'm going to say get the latest, break the statement using break tag just like this. And here I'm going to specify technology app. Save the changes. You're going to get your text right here just out of this H1 heading tag. I'm going to add a paragraph here with a class with LG50. And inside this paragraph, I'm going to add some text. So I'm going to copy some text from my finished website and paste it here just like this. Save the changes. I'm going to have the text here. Just after that, I'm going to add these buttons, this App Store and this Play Store button. To add these buttons, just out of this paragraph, down here, I'm going to create a division tag with the class buttons. So here I'm going to say buttons, and inside this div, I'm going to add an anchor tag. And inside this anchor tag, I'm going to add a span tag, and inside the span, I'm going to have the I tag, and I'm going to add the icon inside this I tag. So here I'm going to specify class, and using class, I'm going to say fab, fa, apple. So this is going to add the apple icon inside this span tag. When I save the changes, I'm going to have the apple icon here. You can notice just out of that, just out of this I tag, here I'm going to say app store. Save the changes. I'm going to have the text app store. Just out of that, to this anchor tag, I'm going to specify class. I'm going to add a Bootstrap class btn. Just out of that, I'm going to add here border. Save the changes. I'm going to have border to this button. Then I'm going to say rounded pill. So this will just add rounded pill to this button. At the last, I'm going to add some margin y too. So this will add top and bottom margin to this anchor tag. Save the changes. Just copy this anchor tag, paste it down here, change this text, and here I'm going to specify Play Store and change this icon as well. And here I'm going to specify Android. Save the changes. It's going to create a new button just beside this Apple Store and create a new icon with a new text. And just out of that, I want to just specify some background color to this second button. So here I'm going to specify BG info. Save the changes. So this will add background color to this button. And to this button, I want to specify text wide. So here I'm going to say text wide Bootstrap class. Save the changes. I'm going to have text wide. Now let's style this banner section. Now let's move to the banner section styling. So to style this banner section, I'm going to open the Explorer tab and create a new file for that. I'm going to right click here and say new file. And I'm going to create a new file with the underscore, and here I'm going to say banner.scss. Let me just first add this file inside this style.css. So just start this header. Down here, I'm going to just create, import, include banner.scss, just like this. Save the changes. Back to the banner.scss. Create a comment here to indicate this is the banner section. So here I'm going to say template banner. So inside this banner, I'm going to first select the banner ID. As you can notice, inside this index, I have this banner ID. To this section tag, I'm going to select it, and to this banner, I'm going to specify background image. So here I'm going to specify background image, and using the URL, I'm going to specify the background image to this banner section. Inside the single quote, I'm going to specify // to refers to the root directory, and then select the asset folder and select the background image 1. Just out of that, I'm going to specify background size, cover, and background repeat, no repeat. Save the changes. When you save the changes, you can notice you have the background image to the banner section. Just out of that, inside this banner, I'm going to select this space class. I have this class inside this section. You can notice here I have this space division tag here. I'm going to select this space class just like this, and to this space class I'm going to specify display flex, then specify justify content center to center this content just like this. Then I'm going to specify padding top is going to be 14 rem. It's going to add top padding to this section, and then I'm going to add width is going to be 100% and height is going to be 800 pixel. Save the changes. So I'm going to have height and some padding to this banner section. Just after that, I'm going to specify color to it. Color is going to be white. Save the changes. I'm going to have white color to all this text, and just after that, let me just add white color to this button as well. Back to the index.html, add the text white class to this first button. Back to the banner.scss. Inside this space class down here, I'm going to select my buttons using buttons class, then select the anchor tag. So I'm going to select the descendant anchor tag just like this. Add margin right is going to be 0.7 rem. Then add padding, and I'm going to add padding 0.4 rem to the top and bottom and 1.8 rem to the left and right. Save the changes. Just out of that, I'm going to add hover effect on both these buttons. So to create hover effect, you just need to add here ampersand colon hover. So this ampersand refers to the current class. So it's going to create a hover effect on this anchor tag. And to this hover effect, I'm going to specify background is going to be white. Save the changes, and when you hover on this button, you're going to get the background color. Now because you specify the Bootstrap class to this button, you're not going to get the background color white to this button. So to apply this property to this button as well, you need to specify here important keyword to override the Bootstrap CSS property. Save the changes, and as you can notice, you have this property to your second button as well. Just for that, select the span tag inside the anchor tag and then specify color to it. And now I'm going to use the Bootstrap variable dark to specify dark color to this text. Save the changes. When you save the changes and hover on this button, you have dark color to this text and have white background. Now just after that, once I specify white color to all this text, let me just specify white color to this navigation bar as well. So let me just open my website and open the index.html, and let me first minimize this banner section, open the header section, and to this banner, let me first specify here text white. Let me first open the header section. So I'm going to open the header.scss, and right here inside this nav item, I'm going to just select the anchor tag, and inside the anchor tag, I'm going to select the color white. When you save the changes, you can notice you have the white color to this navigation links. If you want, you can create hover effect on these navigation links as well. That's upon you. So I will leave this to you to create hover effect on this navigation menu. Now you can notice the navigation menu is now completely ready. Now let me first check this navigation menu for smaller devices. I'm going to right click here and say inspect. And now let me check this navigation menu for the mobile devices. Let me just decrease this viewport. You can notice the website is responsive. When you click on this button, it's going to collapse all the navigation links. So now what I want, when I click on this toggle button, I want to specify some background color to this navigation menu. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply open the header section, and right here, just after this collapse, right down here, I'm going to add a media query. So I'm going to add here @media screen, and then right here I'm going to add and max width is going to be 992 pixel. So I'm going to say here if the max width of this viewport is 992 pixel, I want to specify background color to this navbar, and I want to specify color purple. Save the changes. Now you can notice I have the background color to this navigation bar. When you increase the size of this navbar, the background color will automatically hide. Now once you complete the navigation menu, now what I want, when I decrease the size of this viewport, I want to change the height of this banner. To do that, I'm going to just open the banner section. I'm going to open the banner.scss, and at the bottom, just after this space, I'm going to add a media query screen, and here I'm going to say and max width is going to be 992 pixel, and in this media query I'm going to select the space, and I'm going to specify padding top to it. So I'm going to say padding top 10 frame, and height is going to be 700 pixel. When I save the changes, it's going to change the height of this banner section. When you open the index file, you can notice here in this banner section, you have a class with LG50. This is not the Bootstrap class actually. This is my custom class. To create this class, I'm going to use my global file. I'm going to open the global.scss, and down here I'm going to create that class. So in the global file, down here I'm going to say dot with LG50, and inside it I'm going to copy the media query right from here, paste it inside this class just like this, get rid of this space from here, and then specify width 200 pixel. When the max width is equal to 992 pixel, it's going to specify this width 200 to this section. Now what I want to specify here minimum width to this 992 pixel. So instead of max, here I'm going to say min 992 pixel. Save the changes. So when you increase the size of this viewport, you can notice you have different result. Now you can notice the banner section is now completely ready. Now if you just take a closer look at your website, then you can notice you have the horizontal bar as well. And this bar is going to add some space. I want to remove the space from this website. I'm going to just back to my index file, and to this row, I need to specify margin 0. When I save the changes, you can notice you don't have this horizontal bar, and it's going to remove this margin from this row. Now, once you understand how to create this navigation bar and this banner section, let me show you how to create this technology section of this website. I will explain how to create your own beautiful oval carousel in your website. So let me show you how to do it. Now, once you understand how to create the navigation menu, how to create the banner section of this website, let me just show you how you can create this beautiful technology section in this website. In this section, I'm going to create the title, technology, and then I'm going to add the technology category link here. And in this technology, I'm going to have my oval carousel. To navigate this oval carousel, I have here previous and next button. When I click on it, you can notice I can navigate to different slides. I'm going to add this oval carousel and add different slides inside it. And inside this oval carousel, I have different block. And to this block, I'm going to add this hover effect to this image, add title, add description, then add the author name, and then I'm going to add the post publish time. So you can notice this oval carousel looks amazing. So let me show you how to create this beautiful oval carousel. So let's just back to the website, and just out of this banner section, down here, I'm going to create a new section and name this section technology. So I'm going to say here tech. So I'm going to create a section tag with the ID tech. Inside this tech ID, inside this section, I'm going to create a container division tag of Bootstrap, and inside this container, I'm going to create my division tag. So here I'm going to create division tag with the class title, then add deflex Bootstrap class, and then I'm going to add justify content between Bootstrap class. I'm going to add my custom title class, then I'm going to add a deflex Bootstrap class. So this class is going to specify display flex property to this division tag, and this justify content between is going to add space between two elements. So when you add here two elements, it's going to add space between these two elements. So inside this division tag, here I'm going to add h3 heading tag, and I'm going to add class to it, font none. Then I'm going to add text dark, the Bootstrap class, and then I'm going to say left border. So I'm going to add left border to this h3 heading tag. So here I'm going to add my custom class, font none, then specify text dark, Bootstrap class. And I'm going to just add here text technology, just like this. Save the changes, and here you can notice I have this text down here. Just out of that, just out of this h3 heading tag, I'm going to add h6 heading tag, and inside it I'm going to add anchor tag, and inside the anchor tag I'm going to add some text. So here I'm going to say technology categories, and to this anchor tag I'm going to specify class nav link and text secondary. So I'm going to add a Bootstrap class nav link to remove text decoration from the anchor tag, and text secondary is going to add light gray color to this anchor tag. Save the changes, and you can notice I'm going to have this anchor tag here. So this justify content between is going to add some space between these elements. Now just out of this h6 heading tag down here, I'm going to add my oval carousel. So here I'm going to add command and say oval carousel. Copy this command, paste it down here to indicate this is the closing oval carousel. Now to create oval carousel, you need to create the oval carousel container, and inside it you need to create different oval items. If you just take a look at the oval carousel website, then here you can notice you have the demos, and inside it just click on this basics, and here you can notice you have the HTML structure of this oval carousel. The structure says you need to create the container of the whole carousel, and inside it you need to create some items. That doesn't matter how many items you have in the whole carousel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy this division tag just like this, paste it right here inside this whole carousel section. Get rid of some items right from here. Save the changes. When I save the changes, I'm not going to have any result here because I did not initialize the whole carousel yet. I already linked the whole carousel in the index file. You can notice here I already linked the whole carousel, but I did not initialize this whole carousel. So I need to first initialize this whole carousel so I can see the result. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the index.js file, and inside it I'm going to initialize the whole carousel. So inside this index.js, I'm going to first create a command and say jQuery method. I'm going to call the jQuery method document dot ready. So when the document is ready, I want to execute this function, and inside this function I'm going to initialize the whole carousel. So here I'm going to say technology whole carousel, and just after that here I'm going to initialize the whole carousel. To initialize the whole carousel, you can notice in the whole website you can find the code to initialize the whole carousel. You need to initialize the whole carousel with whole carousel method, and you can pass different properties to this whole carousel as well. I'm going to copy this code and paste it just like this. And as you know, I have this whole carousel inside this tech ID. So I'm going to use this right here. So here I'm going to say select tech ID, and inside it I have this whole carousel. So select this whole carousel, and just for that, let me just get rid of all these properties just like that. Specify semicolon, save the changes, and you can notice you have your whole carousel here. That's easy, right? I have this whole carousel inside this display flex. I need to first adjust the whole carousel. As you can notice, I have this whole carousel inside this div. Let me just grab this whole carousel and paste it after this division tag right down here, just like this. Save the changes. When I save the changes, you can notice I have this whole carousel just out of this division tag. You can notice using these dots, I can navigate to my different blocks. So now the whole carousel is now successfully created. Let me just add some blocks inside it and style this technology section. But before I do it, let me just close these unwanted tabs right from here. And now let's get started and see how to style and create the whole carousel of this website. Now, once I have my whole carousel, let me just add some space here and add some style. And then I will add different items inside this whole carousel. Let me just back to my project, and here I'm going to create a new file for this technology section. So in this include folder, I'm going to create a new file and name this file tech and specify extension as CSS. Before I specify any code inside it, let me open the style.scss, duplicate this line and just specify here tech.scss, just like this. So I'm going to just import this file inside this style, save the changes, back to the tech.scss, and right here I'm going to style this technology section. I'm going to create a simple comment here and say technology section, and here I'm going to first select the tech ID. So I'm going to just simply select this ID tech, this one. Just for that, let me first close these unwanted files right from here, and then in this tech I'm going to simply first add padding to this tech section. So here I'm going to add padding, and I'm going to add padding to the top and bottom, 3 rem to the top and bottom, and 0 for the left and right. When I save the changes, I'm going to have some padding to this technology section. Just for that, I want to add this beautiful border to this title. So if you just take a look at your project, then you can notice I have here a class left border. This is not the Bootstrap class actually. This is the class which we are going to create inside the global section of this website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the global.scss, and here I'm going to create that class. So down here, I'm going to just simply create this class like this, and inside this class I'm going to say border left, add pixel solid, and then I'm going to pass the bootstrap variable teal. So this will specify this color to this border. Just for that, I'm going to pass padding left to it. So I'm going to say padding left 1 gram. Save the changes. When I save the changes, you can notice I have this border to this technology section. Back to the index file, and after this technology categories, let me add a simple icon. So you can notice here in the finished website, I have here an icon. So let me add this icon just out of these categories. So just out of these technology categories, I'm going to just simply add here I tag and specify classes to it. Here I'm going to say fast FA arrow right. When I save the changes, I'm going to have this right arrow to this technology categories. Just out of that, let me show you how to create these beautiful items inside this oval carousel. So I'm going to just back to my project and open the index.html, and instead of these h4 heading tags inside this item division tag right here, I'm going to create my own items. So I'm going to create this beautiful item inside this oval item. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply first add this image. So I'm going to just back to my division tag inside this item. Here I'm going to create first image. So I'm going to first add a division tag with the class img hover. I'm going to create this class in the global section. I will show you that later. But just create this division tag, and inside it create an anchor tag. So when you click on this image, you can navigate the user to the different page. Just out of that, here I'm going to add img to add image, and in the source I'm going to pass asset folder, and then I'm going to specify my blog1.jpg file, and in the alt I'm going to specify blog1. And to make this image responsive, I'm going to simply add class img fluid. Let me just back to my website and save the changes. When I save the changes, you can notice I have this image here. Just out of that, I want to specify some padding to this image. So I'm going to specify class padding y3. So this will add top and bottom padding to this image. Just out of that, just out of this division tag down here, I'm going to add title and description of the blog. So here I'm going to say dot item title. So I'm going to create here a division tag with the class item title, and then I'm going to create here anchor tag, and inside this anchor tag I'm going to add h5 heading tag, and here I'm going to add some title. So here I'm going to just copy some title from my finished website and paste it inside this h5 heading tag, just like this. And then to this h5 heading tag, I'm going to specify some classes. So I'm going to add here class, and then I'm going to specify padding y2. So this will add top and bottom padding to this h5 heading tag, and then I'm going to specify font none. So this is my global class to specify font family. When I save the changes, you can notice here I have this h5 heading tag. Just out of this h5 heading tag and just out of this anchor tag right here, I'm going to add a paragraph, and to this paragraph I'm going to add some classes. So here I'm going to first specify class, and then I'm going to specify font size is going to be 1. So I'm going to specify my global class font size 1, and then I'm going to specify text secondary. So this will specify light gray color to this paragraph. So I'm going to just copy some text from my finished website and paste it inside this paragraph, just like this. Or if you want to add some demo text inside this paragraph, you can say lorem and specify how many words you want to insert. So for example, if I want to add 5 words inside this paragraph, I can say lorem 5. When you press tab, you're going to have the demo 5 words inside this paragraph. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to just copy some text from my finished website and paste it here. When I save the changes, I'm going to have my paragraph here. Once I have this paragraph, just after this paragraph, I'm going to create here a division tag with the class dflex. And when I press tab, I'm going to have the division tag with the class dflex. And inside it, I'm going to create here img. And inside this img, to the source attribute, I'm going to pass asset folder. And then I'm going to pass the face image. So I'm going to select my face image, face1.jpg. And then I'm going to specify alt attribute, face. Then I'm going to specify class. Class is going to be rounded pill. So I'm going to pass the bootstrap class rounded pill. When I save the changes, you can notice here I have this image of this face. I'm going to style it later. Just out of that, I'm going to add anchor tag with href attribute, and then I'm going to specify class to it. To this class, I'm going to pass text dark. So I'm going to pass dark color to this anchor tag and then specify daily tuition. Just out of this anchor tag, I'm going to add a span tag and specify class to it. So here I'm going to specify text info. So this is going to specify light blue color to this span tag. And here I'm going to add an icon. So I'm going to say here I tag, and to this I I'm going to specify class fast fa tree. And just out of this span, I'm going to create another span tag and add class to it. And to this class, I'm going to pass text secondary. And inside this span tag, I'm going to say 1 minute ago. When I save the changes, I'm going to have the result something like this. Now, let me show you how you can style this section. So, I'm going to style this section in the text.scss file. So, I'm going to just back to my text.scss, and here I'm going to style this oval item. To style this oval item, I'm going to first select this oval carousel, and then I'm going to select this item class, and then I'm going to style these HTML elements. So I'm going to just back to my text file, and inside this text ID right here, I'm going to say oval carousel. Inside this oval carousel, I have item, and inside this item, I have item title. I'm going to select this item title section, and inside this item title, I'm going to select the descendant anchor tag, and to this anchor tag, I'm going to specify text decoration, none, and then I'm going to specify color is going to be dark. Once I have styling to this title, let me just select the deflex class, deflex, and then I'm going to select the image inside this deflex, and I'm going to specify width to it. Width is going to be 30 pixel. I'm going to specify width to this image. Then I'm going to specify margin right to it. Margin right is going to be 0.5 rem. When I save the changes, I'm going to have the result something like this. Just out of this image, I'm going to select the anchor tag, the I tag, and the span tag. I'm going to select all these tags and specify padding to it. And I'm going to specify padding 0.2 rem. So I'm going to specify top, bottom, left, and right padding. And then I'm going to add text decoration, none, and then I'm going to simply add font size is going to be 0.9 rem. When I save the changes, I'm going to have the result something like this. Now, as you can notice, my first oval item is now ready. Now let me add one more oval item inside this second oval item right here. So I'm going to just back to my index.html, and instead of creating a new item, I'm going to just copy this division tag right from here and paste it here, just like this. And I'm going to just change these images, this text. So I'm going to just simply say here block 2. Then I'm going to change this text as well. So I'm going to copy some text from my finished website, paste it here. And just for that, I'm going to leave everything as it is. Save the changes. And as you can notice, I have my second oval item. Now what I want to add some margin between this oval item. To do that, I'm going to just back to my project, and instead of adding margin using CSS, I have a property which specifies margin to this oval item. So I'm going to just open my index.js, and in this oval, I can specify margin to these oval items. So to this oval item, here I'm going to pass different properties to this oval item. So in this parenthesis, I'm going to pass curly braces just like this, and here I'm going to pass margin property. And to this margin property, I'm going to specify 40. It means I want to add 40 pixel margin to this oval item. Save the changes. As you can notice, this will add 40 pixel margin to these oval items. Just for that, let me add some more oval items. So I'm going to just back to my index file, copy this second oval item, paste it here, and change this block. I'm going to specify block 3, change this title. So I'm going to change this title just like this. I'm going to copy this item, paste it down here, change this block, specify here 4. I will leave everything as it is. Copy this item, paste it down here, change this block post 4 to block 5. Do the same. Here I'm going to specify block 6. Just like this. Save the changes. When I save the changes, you can notice I have my blog post. Let me just add one more oval item. Let me just copy this first item and paste it down here. Save the changes, and here you can notice I have my all items with oval dots. Once I have my all items, I'm going to create a simple hover effect just like this on these all item images and style these beautiful navigation bars. So you can navigate to different all items. I'm going to just back to my index.html, and you can notice here, if you just take a look at this class, here I have image hover. This is not the Bootstrap class. I'm going to create this class in the global section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply open the global.scss file, and here I'm going to create that class. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply copy this class and create this class inside this global section, just like this. And here I'm going to simply first specify overflow hidden property to this class. Inside it, I'm going to select the img tag. You can notice inside this image hover, I have img. Right here, you can notice here, I have this img tag inside this image hover. I'm going to select this img, and to this img tag, I'm going to specify transform scale 1. Then I'm going to specify transition, specify transform. I'm going to create transition effect on transform property, then specify millisecond, 0.5 second, and then specify ease. Just after that, I'm going to create hover effect. So I'm going to just add here ampersand colon hover. So I'm going to create hover effect on this image, and when I hover on this image, I want to change its size. So I'm going to say here transform scale 1.1. Save the changes, back to my project, and when I hover on this image, you can notice I will have a simple beautiful effect on my images. Now just after that, let me just show you how you can style this oval item navigation previous and next button. I'm not going to use this oval dot here. Instead, I'm going to use this previous and this next button. If you want, you can leave this as it is as default, but I want to add this next and previous button. So I'm going to just hide these dots and add next and previous button. So I'm going to just back to my index file, and here I'm going to add some properties. So I'm going to specify here comma, and then I'm going to add dots false. So I'm going to remove these dots right from here, and then I'm going to add here now true. When I save the changes, I have here a navigation button. Now once I have this button, let me just style it. So I'm going to just back to my text section of this website. I'm going to just open the text.scss, and inside this oval carousel right here, I'm going to style these oval dots. So I'm going to simply first select this oval dot. So I'm going to say here dot oval nav. If you want to get the classes of this oval dot, you can simply right click here and say inspect, and from the inspect you can select these oval dots just like this, and you will have these classes here, and then you can access all these classes to specify your own style to these oval dots. Now once you know where you can get the classes of this oval dot, let me just back to my style and first select the oval nav, and then I'm going to select margin top. I'm going to add some top margin here. I'm going to say 2 rem. Just after that, I'm going to select button, and then I'm going to add ampersand colon focus, and then I'm going to select ampersand hover. So you can notice here, when I hover on this button, I have this default background, and when I click on this button, I'm going to have this awkward border to this button. I want to remove this background color as well as this border. So I'm going to just simply select this focus and hover effect, and here I'm going to just specify outline none, and box shadow is going to be none, and then I'm going to specify background color transparent. When I save the changes, you can notice I'm not going to have any border or any background color to these buttons. Just out of this button, right down here, I'm going to select all the buttons and all the span tag inside this button, then select the background color. I'm going to specify background color light. I'm going to call the Bootstrap light variable, and then specify padding to it. Padding is going to be 0.4 rem and 3 rem. When I save the changes, I'm going to have some padding to this oval nav. Just after that, I'm going to add border radius. It's going to be 3 rem. Then I'm going to create hover effect on it. So here I'm going to add ampersand hover, and here I'm going to add background color. Background color is going to be dark. So I'm going to call a Bootstrap variable dark. Save the changes, and you can notice I have these beautiful oval navigation buttons. Now, just for that, at the last, I want to add some space between this title and this item. So I'm going to just back to my index file, and here to this oval carousel, I'm going to specify padding y4. When I save the changes, I'm going to have some space between this title and these oval items. So now you can notice the technology section of this website is now completely ready. So I hope you understand how to create oval carousel in your website and style different section of this oval carousel. Now in the next section, I'm going to show you how to create this beautiful security section of this website. So let's see how to create this security section. In this section, we are going to understand how to create this beautiful security section of this website. But before we understand how to create it, let me show you how we can make these oval items responsive. If you just take a look at this oval item, then you can notice this oval section is not responsive. So we need to make this section responsive for all the devices. To do that, I'm going to just open my index file, and right here I'm going to add another property which is responsive. So here I'm going to add property responsive, and I'm going to pass some breakpoints here. So in the curly braces right here, what I want, if the viewport is greater than 1000 pixel, I want to display 3 oval items on the screen. So here I'm going to specify items 3. Let me just save the changes. And now if the viewport is greater than 1000 pixel, I want to display 3 oval items. If the viewport is greater than 600 pixel, so here I'm going to create another breakpoint, and here I'm going to say if the viewport is greater than 600 pixel, I want to display only 2 items. So here I'm going to say items 2. Don't forget to specify comma here, just like this. Save the changes. And now if the viewport is less than 100 pixel and greater than 600 pixel, I'm going to have only 2 oval items. You can notice here. And now just for that, what I want, if the viewport is less than 600 pixel, I want to display only 1 oval item. So what I'm going to do is, before this 600, right up here, I'm going to specify 0. If the viewport is 0 or greater than that, I want to specify only 1 item. So here I'm going to specify item 1. Don't forget to specify comma here, save the changes. And now if you just take a look at your oval item, then it's completely responsive, right? So now your oval item is now completely responsive for any devices. Now once you understand how to make oval items responsive, let me just move to the security section of this website and show you how to create it. I'm going to just back to my index file and just minimize this oval section just like this. And down here I'm going to create a new section for the security section. So to create this section, I'm going to first create the title of this section, then specify the categories, then create the oval carousel, and then add this next and previous button. So I'm going to just back to my project and create here a new section. So here I'm going to say section, then specify ID to it, security, and then I'm going to specify here container, a division tag with the class container, and inside it I'm going to add this title and this link. So I'm going to just get this title and link from this text section right from here. I'm going to copy this division tag just like this and paste it inside this container. Change this text, and here I'm going to say security, and I'm going to just change this as well and specify here securities. Save the changes, back to the website, and here you can notice you have the security title. Just after that, once I have this title, let me just create the oval carousel. As you know, I have this oval carousel inside this text section. So let me just copy it and paste it inside this security section right down here, just out of this div right down here. Now once I have this oval carousel and this oval item, let me first change some images. So I'm going to just simply change my first image, and here I'm going to specify block 4. Then I'm going to change this second oval item image. Here I'm going to specify block 6. Then change the third image, block 5, just like this, and save the changes. the oval carousel will not display anything because you didn't initialize the oval carousel yet. So you need to first initialize the oval carousel and then you will see all the result. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back to my index file and copy this oval carousel code right from here and paste it down here. And instead of specifying this command technology oval carousel, here I'm going to say security oval carousel, and I'm going to change this ID as well, security oval carousel. And just for that, I'm going to leave everything as it is, save the changes, and as you can notice, I have this oval carousel here. Now what I want to specify some style to these oval items. So instead of creating a new style for these oval items, I can use the style of the previous oval item as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back to the text section, and right up here I'm going to just specify comma here and specify hash security, just like this. When I save the changes, you can notice I'm going to have all the styling of the previous oval carousel to this section. And now just for that, instead of these icons, I want to add here next and previous button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply back to the index file and right down here, just out of this now, I'm going to add here another property of oval carousel, which is now text. And using this now text, you can specify text to this next and this previous button. So in the array, you can pass value to the next and the previous button. So here in the double quote, I'm going to specify value to the previous button. So here I'm going to create a span tag first, create a span tag just like this. And inside this span tag, I'm going to add I tag. And to this I tag, I'm going to specify class. In the single quote, I'm going to simply specify fas fa arrow left. And just out of this I tag, here I'm going to specify previous. Copy this span tag right from here and create a second button. Specify here comma. In the double quote, paste the span tag again. And I'm going to first add here, before this icon, I'm going to say next. Specify space. Get rid of this previous right from here and change this left to right. Just like this. Don't forget to specify comma here at the end of this property. Save the changes. When I save the changes, you can notice I have this next and this previous text to these buttons. Now what I want to change and make this section dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file and specify styling to this security section. So I'm going to just back to my Explorer, create a new file inside this include section, and I'm going to just name this file security.scss. And inside this file, I'm going to style this section. But before I style this section, let me first add this file in the style right here. I'm going to just duplicate this statement and I'm going to just add here security.scss. Save the changes, back to the security.scss, and just create here a command to indicate this is a template for security section. And just out of that, I'm going to just simply first select the security ID. So here I'm going to say security, and then I'm going to specify background color to it. So here I'm going to specify background color dark. So I'm going to use the Bootstrap class dark. Then I'm going to specify color to all the text. I'm going to specify white color. So here I'm going to say white. Save the changes. Just out of that, I'm going to just specify margin. Margin is going to be 3 rem to the top and bottom and 0 for the left and right. Now just out of this margin, right down here, I'm going to select the oval carousel. Inside oval carousel, I have item, and inside item, I have item title. Inside this item title, I have anchor tag, and to this anchor tag, I'm going to first specify color, and the color is going to be white. Save the changes, and you can notice I have this white color to these titles. Just out of that, just out of this anchor tag, right down here, I'm going to select the deflex and select the descendant anchor tag and specify color to it. Color is going to be white. This will not change the color of this anchor tag because I already specified the Bootstrap class to change this color. So to apply this property, you need to add here important keyword, just like this. When I save the changes, you can notice I have the white color to this anchor tag. Just for that, I want to style this button. So inside this oval carousel, right down here, I'm going to select oval nav, then add some margin to the top section, and I'm going to add 4 rem to the top. Then I'm going to select button and select all the small tag inside it. Then add padding to it. Padding 4 rem to the top and bottom and 3 rem to the left and right. Just after that, I'm going to add color to it. Color is going to be dark. I'm going to simply add hover effect on it. So I'm going to say ampersand hover. Background color is going to be secondary. So I'm going to add a Bootstrap variable secondary and color is going to be white. Save the changes. Oops, I think I misspelled the variable name. Save the changes. And as you can notice, I have the white color to these buttons. Just for that, I want to change the color of this title as well. So I'm going to just back to my index, and instead of styling this title from this CSS, I'm going to just style it right from here. Here I'm going to just specify text white. Save the changes, and as you can notice, I have the security section ready. Let me just specify text white to this security categories as well. Here I'm going to specify text white. Save the changes. And now, just for that, what I want to just specify infinite loop to this oval carousel. So I'm going to just back to the index.js, and here to this security section, I'm going to just add a property loop and specify true here. When I save the changes, your oval carousel is now endless. Now that's it. Your security section is now completely ready. In the next section, I'm going to show you how to create this editor favorite section. Now, once you understand how to create this beautiful security section of this website, let me show you how to create this editor section of this website. In this section, I'm going to create this title, this anchor tag, and then I'm going to add this beautiful all items inside this editor section. So here I'm going to add 5 all items inside this section. And we're also going to add this next and this previous button. So let me show you how to create this beautiful oval carousel inside these editor sections. So I'm going to just back to my project, open the index file, minimize this security section, create a new section here, and I'm going to name this section favorite. And inside it, I'm going to first create a container, and inside this container, as you know, I have this title. So let me first copy this title right from here, from the first security section, and paste that right down here inside this container. And instead of this text white, I'm going to specify text dark to these titles. Save the changes, back to the website. Here you can notice you have this title. Just change this security to editors favorite. Then here in this security section, I'm going to get rid of this icon right from here and add all security technology. Save the changes, and now you have this title and this anchor tag. Now what I want to move this anchor tag right here. Instead of specify this justify content between, I'm going to just get rid of this class right from here. Save the changes, and here you can notice I have this title. And then I'm going to add font size to this title, and here I'm going to add font size 1. Just after that, I'm going to add oval carousel inside this editor favorite section. So here I'm going to add oval carousel. So I'm going to copy this oval carousel right from here, from this security section, copy this oval carousel, minimize this security section, and down here, I'm going to paste my oval carousel, just like this. I'm going to just minimize all these items, and now I'm going to save the changes. And now let me first initialize this oval item. So I'm going to just back to my index file, copy the security code, paste it just down here, just like this. Change this security to favorite and save all the changes. When I save the changes, I'm going to have, oops, I think I misspelled something. Yeah, right here. Instead of ID, I just specify here class to this section. So here I'm going to specify ID, save the changes. And now you can notice I have my old carousel. And now to specify styling to this section, I'm using the tech.scss file. Here I'm going to add comma and say favorite, just like this. When I save the changes, I'm going to have all the styling of my first oval item to this editor's favorite section. And now just out of that, what I want to add 5 oval item on one page. And I'm going to just remove this description, this image, and this text from this section. So I'm going to just simply back to my index file, open the items and get rid of this title section right from here. So just out of this paragraph, I'm going to get rid of this section right from here, just like this, and leave this title as it is. When I save the changes, you can notice this will just remove this bottom section right from this oval item. And just out of that, instead of padding by 3, I'm going to specify here padding by 1. To this title, I'm going to specify padding by 1, and I'm going to change the font size, and here I'm going to specify font size 1. Save the changes, and you can notice I'm going to have the result something like this. I'm going to do the same for all these items. So I'm going to just minimize this first item from the second item. From this paragraph, get rid of all the code just like this, and just change this paragraph to 1 just like this, and add here font size 1. Save the changes. Do the same for these sections as well. And now just out of that, I want to add 5 oval items on my front page. So I'm going to just back to my index.js, and if you just take a look at these responsive properties, you can notice here if the viewport is greater than 1000 pixel, I want to display 3 items. So here instead of 3, I'm going to say here 5. And if the viewport is greater than 600 pixel, I'm going to specify 3 items. And I'm going to leave this as it is. Save the changes. You can notice I have 5 items inside this oval carousel. Just out of that, I'm going to get rid of this previous and next button right from here, just like this. Save the changes. So here I'm going to have the result something like this. Now as you can notice, the editor section is now completely ready. Now this section is super easy, right? Now in the next section, I'm going to show you how to create this beautiful footer of this website. This is going to be the beautiful footer I ever created. So let's see how to create this beautiful footer. So I'm going to just open my project and back to the index.html, and down here inside this footer section, I'm going to create this footer. Now to create this footer section, you can notice I'm going to just use here different Bootstrap grid columns. So I'm going to create here 4 columns. In the first column, I have this application information. Then I'm going to have different pages of the company, and then I'm going to have the support section of this website, and then I'm going to have this newsletter section. Now let me show you how to create this beautiful footer section of this website. So I'm going to just open my project, and in this footer section, I'm going to create a new tag, footer, for the footer section, and I'm going to specify ID to it, footer. Inside this footer, I'm going to simply create a container. So here I'm going to say container. I'm going to use the Bootstrap class container, and inside it, I'm going to create a row. So I'm using the Bootstrap grid system to create this footer section. Inside this row, I'm going to first create a column. So I'm going to say here call sm12. I'm going to specify 12 column space if the viewport is equal to small size of devices. And if the viewport is equal to the medium devices, I want to specify 3 column space. So here I'm going to specify call md3. So for the medium size of devices, I want to specify 3 column space to this division tag. And for the large size of devices, I'm going to specify 3 column space. So here I'm going to say call LG3. Just for that, I want to add some margin to it. So I'm going to add margin top 3. And I want to remove this margin from the large devices. So here I'm going to say margin top LG0. So from the large devices, I want to remove this margin. And if the viewport is less than that, I want to add this margin. Inside this div, I'm going to simply first add h4 heading tag and specify title to it, best application. You are free to specify any title inside this h4 heading tag. Now just out of that, I'm going to specify class to this h4 heading tag, and here I'm going to say h4 font none. Save the changes. When I'm back to my website, here I can notice I have the footer section. Just out of this h4 heading tag, I'm going to create here a paragraph, and to this paragraph, I'm going to specify some classes first. I'm going to specify class, font size is going to be 1, and text is going to be secondary. And inside this paragraph, I'm going to add some text. So I'm going to copy some text from my finished website and paste it here. Just out of this paragraph, down here, you can notice I have some icons. To add these icons, I'm going to just create here deflex Bootstrap class, and inside it, I'm going to add these icons. So here I'm going to create a span tag, create anchor tag, and inside it, I'm going to add these different icons. I'm using this anchor tag to navigate user to the social media websites. So I'm using anchor tag for that. In this anchor tag, I'm going to specify I tag, and to this I tag, I'm going to specify class fab fa Twitter. So this will add Twitter icon inside my footer section, just like this. You can notice here. Now what I'm going to do is, to this anchor tag, let me just add some classes. Here I'm going to add now link to remove the text decoration and then specify text dark. Just out of that, once I have it, let me just duplicate this span tag. So to duplicate this line, I'm going to just navigate my cursor at the end of this statement right here and then press Shift Alt down from my keyboard, just like this. When I press down key, I have the duplicate of this line, and I'm going to just change these icons. So I'm going to change this second icon to Telegram plain, then I'm going to change this Twitter to Facebook, and then I'm going to change this Twitter to YouTube. Save the changes, and here I'm going to have different icons. Oops, I just misspelled this Telegram. And now what I want to remove some padding from this first icon. So right here, I'm going to add padding left 0. So I'm going to have the result what I want. And just out of that, down here, just out of this division tag, I'm going to add here img tag and add the payment image. So here I'm going to select the asset and select this payment image here. Save the changes, and down here I have these payment images. Once I have my first column, you can notice in my second column I have the company section. Let me just add some space to this image. So to this image right down here, I'm going to add a class to it. Class is going to be img fluid to make it responsive, and add padding top 4. Save the changes. So this will add some padding to this image. Now just for that, let me just minimize this column just like this, and just after this column I'm going to create here another column. So I'm going to create here a division tag with the class call sm6. So right here what I'm going to do is, I want to specify 6 column space to this division tag. Just after that, I'm going to just say call md3. If the viewport is for small size of devices, I want to specify 6 column space to this div. If the viewport is for medium size of devices, I want to specify 3 column space to this div. And if the viewport is for large size of devices, I want to specify call lg2. So I want to specify 2 column space to this div. Just after that, I'm going to specify margin top 5 and margin top lg 0. So I'm going to remove this margin if the viewport is large. Here I'm going to add a division tag with the class company, and inside this company I'm going to add title. I'm going to add h6 heading tag with the text company, just like this, and then I'm going to add class to it. Class is going to be font none. So I'm going to add font family to this company. Just out of that, just out of this company, I'm going to add deflex and flex columns. Just out of that, here I'm going to add anchor tag and add my different pages. So if you create different pages for this website, you can specify links in this href attribute. Here I'm going to add about us, duplicate this anchor tag just like this, change this about us to blog, then I'm going to change this about us to feedback, and I'm going to change this to products. Save the changes. So here I'm going to have some pages. Just out of that, to this div, I'm going to add some class. I'm going to add some left padding. So I'm going to add padding left 3 and padding top 2. Save the changes. So this will add some left padding and top padding to this company section. Just out of that, once I have my column, just out of this div, I'm going to create another column where I'm going to add this support section. Div right from here and paste it right here, just like this. I'm going to leave everything as it is inside this div and just change this text. Here I'm going to say support, change this pages as well. Here I'm going to specify contact us. Then this became privacy policy. This became terms of use. This became sitemap. Save the changes, and as you can notice, I have the support section of this website. Now just for that, at the last, I have this newsletter section. So I'm going to just add that here. So I'm going to just back to my project, minimize this column and create a new column here. Here I'm going to create a new column and specify 12 column space. So here I'm going to specify call SM12. So if the viewport is for smaller devices, I want to specify 12 column space to this div. Then here I'm going to specify if the viewport is for medium size of devices, I'm going to specify call MD12. So if the viewport is for medium size of devices, I want to specify 12 column space to this division tag. So if you have same columns to the small and to this medium size of devices, you can remove this small column class right from here, just like this. Once you specify the space for this division tag for the medium size of devices, I'm going to specify space for this div for large size of devices. Here I'm going to specify call LG3. So for the large size of devices, I want to specify 3 column space to this division tag. Then I'm going to specify margin top 5 and margin top LG0. Just out of that, here I'm going to create a division tag with the class newsletter. And with this newsletter, I'm going to specify some classes of Bootstrap. I'm going to add border and text center. Inside this div, I'm going to add h6 heading tag and specify class to it, h6, then specify font none. And to this h6 heading tag, here I'm going to specify subscribe newsletter. When I save the changes, I'm going to have this section right here. I have this border and this title to this newsletter section. Just out of this h6 heading tag, here I'm going to add a paragraph and specify some classes to it first. Specify classes. Font size is going to be 1 and I'm going to specify text secondary. And I'm going to just copy some text from my finished website and specify that to this paragraph. And just out of this paragraph, here I'm going to create a division tag with the class deflex justify content center to center all this content. And here I'm going to add input type text, then specify class to it. Class is going to be form control to specify predefined styling of Bootstrap. And then I'm going to add here placeholder email. Just out of this div, I'm going to add a simple button and specify class to this button btn. I'm going to add a Bootstrap class btn, then add margin y 2. So I'm going to add top and bottom margin to this button. Then I'm going to add text sign up. Save the changes. And now you can notice you have the result something like this. Now what you need to style this section. So I'm going to just style this section and finish this footer section of this website. Let's just back to the website and create a new file to style this footer section. Now, once you understand how to create this footer section, let me show you how to style it. I'm going to open my Explorer and create a new file inside this include folder. So I'm going to create a new file, footer.scss. And let me just first add this to this style.scss. Right here, I'm going to add footer.scss, just like this. Save the changes. Just out of that, open the footers file. And right here, I'm going to add first comment to indicate this is the file for footer. So I'm going to add here comment footer section. And here I'm going to first select footer ID. Inside this footer ID, I'm going to first specify padding to this footer. I'm going to add padding 3 rem to the top and bottom and 0 for the left and right. Just out of that, I'm going to add background image. Just out of that, I'm going to select my company class. So here I'm going to say company, and inside it, I'm going to have the deflex class. So I'm going to say here deflex and select the descendant anchor tag and specify text decoration none. So I'm going to specify text decoration to this anchor tags. When I save the changes, this property is now applied to this anchor tags. Just out of that, I'm going to specify color to it. Color is going to be dark. Then specify font size 0.9 rem and margin is going to be 0.3 to the top and bottom and 0 for the left and right. Just out of that, let me just create some hover effect on it. So I'm going to just add ampersand hover and specify just a color for this anchor tag. I'm going to just add my variable purple, just like this. Save the changes. I'm going to have simple hover effect on this company pages. Now just out of that, I'm going to just style this newsletter section. So to style this section, I'm going to select the newsletter class. So just out of this company, right down here, I'm going to first simply select newsletter class. And inside this class, I'm going to first add padding. I'm going to add padding 3 rem. So I'm going to add top, left, right, and bottom padding to this newsletter section, just like this. And then I'm going to select the descendant deflex the input dot form control class. And to this input tag, I'm going to first specify border none. I'm going to remove the input tag border, and then I'm going to specify width 200 pixel. Then font size is going to be 1 rem. And just after that, I'm going to specify margin 0.8 rem to the top and bottom, 0 for the left and right. Background color is going to be light. So I'm going to use the Bootstrap variable here, light. Then I'm going to specify border radius, and border radius is going to be 4 rem. Save the changes. And just after that, I'm going to specify font size and padding to the placeholder. So I'm going to add ampersand, add here placeholder just like this. And to this placeholder, I'm going to first specify font size 0.8 rem and padding is going to be 0 and 1 rem. Save the changes. So I'm going to add 0 for the top and bottom, 1 rem to the left and right. Just after that, just after this deflex right down here, I'm going to select my button and I'm going to add background color to it. Background color is going to be dark. Then add color white. Then I'm going to add padding to it. Padding is going to be 0.3 rem to the top and bottom and 1.5 rem to the left and right. Then I'm going to add border radius. Border radius is going to be 4 rem and font size is going to be 0.8 rem. Save the changes. And if you want, you can create hover effect on this button as well. I'm going to add here ampersand, create the hover effect on this button and specify background color purple. Save the changes. Just after that, you can notice the input text box is moved to the right side of this newsletter section. I'm going to simply open my style sheet and to this padding, for the top and bottom, I'm going to specify 3 rem and for the left and right, I'm going to specify 2 rem. Save the changes. That's it, right? And just after that, at the last, let me just specify background image to this footer section. So I'm going to just open my project, open the footer.scss and up here, just after this padding, here I'm going to add background image. In the URL, I'm going to pass the path of my background image. So here I'm going to specify double dot // to access the asset folder. And then I'm going to select the background image to JPG file. And then I'm going to specify background size is going to be cover and background repeat is going to be no repeat. Save the changes. As you can notice, I have the background image to this footer section. Now what I want to change the position of this background image. So down here, I'm going to add background position. I'm going to just specify position 40% and 90%. Save the changes. And when I save the changes, you can notice I have the result something like this. Now, as you can see, the footer section of this website is now completely ready. Now, let me just check the responsiveness of this website. So let me first check for the footer section. I'm going to open the inspect tool and let's check the footer section. I'm going to just decrease the size of this viewport. You can notice this section is completely responsive. So you can notice the footer section is now completely responsive. Now let's check the complete website. So I'm going to just reload this browser. Now let's check this website for the different devices. So I'm going to first open this website for the large devices. You can notice it's completely responsive. Let me just change the device port and open this for the laptops. It's completely responsive for the laptop as well. Change it and open this for the mobile devices. You can notice this website is responsive for the mobile as well. And let me just open this for the smaller size of mobile devices. That's great, right? So this website is responsive for all kind of devices. You don't have to worry about anything. This website is now completely ready. I hope you understand how to create this beautiful website really from the beginning. If you find anything useful in this tutorial, don't forget to click on the like button, subscribe for more latest videos, and if you want to download this project, the link is in the description. If you want to support this channel, don't forget to check the Patreon link in the description of this video. That is all for now. I will see you in the next one.